Richard shot this video while he was residing in the house where his victims' corpses were rotting.
Alright, so I'm making this video because, or if anybody finds this, I really don't know what I'm trying to say, and just I'm breathtaking at what I've done, and I apologize. I know I'm gonna pay for my consequences. You know, I wish that I could have not done this, but I just lost my mind. I snapped, and I did what I did, and I gotta pay for it now. My consequences. I'm like all shaky and stuff, but like, to anybody that finds this, tell my parents that like I love them, and I'm very sorry for doing this, and there's nothing really else to say. To everybody that is probably gonna hate me for this, I'm sorry, and I had to do it. My mind just snapped. I couldn't control it anymore. That's it. Due to the big world, everybody in the world, I can't stand this place.
Residents of the area started to smell an unpleasant odor, but they couldn't find its source. They ignored it, thinking that a dead animal must have caused the odor. They had no idea they were smelling the decaying remains of 4 humans. When Richard finally left the house, he left behind a crime scene that was so horrifying that the authorities could only say that they had never seen such a dreadful scene before. It is hard to tell what exactly he was doing while he was living in the house with dead bodies, but one thing is certain. When he went to see his online friend for the first time, nobody could have possibly predicted that things would take such a devastating turn. 20-year-old aspiring horrorcore rapper Richard Samuel McCroskey III lived in Castro Valley, California with his father and sister. Richard was frequently teased in high school for having red hair and being overweight. After receiving so much hatred from fellow students, he dropped out of 2 high schools and never graduated. He had experience creating websites and had worked as a graphic designer for a while. Many people thought of him as a shy young man who kept to himself, but his MySpace site revealed the contrast between his online and offline selves. His MySpace page featured numerous references to the underground horrorcore subculture, including obscene lyrics and multiple murder scenes, under the names Lil Demon Dog or Psycho Sam. In many of his photographs, he is pictured holding an axe or posing in cemeteries. In one of the videos Richard shared, he can be seen rapping about, quote, "the evil voices inside my head. They just want me to murder continuously," while standing in front of a Gothic church and wearing a skull bandana. He might just be referring to his own dark side, or his own violent tendencies as the evil voices inside his head. As Richard's confidence in the horrorcore niche started growing, he started talking to like-minded people, one of whom was a 16-year-old Emma Kelly, with the username Ragdoll. Emma lived in Farmville, Virginia with her parents. She had been homeschooled since middle school and was known as a kind and well-rounded girl. As she grew older, Emma showed signs of rebelliousness and started listening to horrorcore music. After her parents' divorce, Emma and her mother Deborah continued to reside in the family home, and Emma's father Mark left it, though the parents' relationship remained amicable. Emma also met an 18-year-old girl named Melanie Wells through the popular horrorcore artist Razakel. Razakel developed friendships with both girls separately while chatting over MySpace. When Razakel learned that all 3 girls live in the same town, she invited them both to meet. All 3 girls became friends through this expensive online community, but little did they know their time of death was slowly drawing near. But long before all of this, Emma and Richard's relationship turned romantic. Richard called Emma his online girlfriend, but Emma might not have been as serious about Richard. Still, they continued to send one another flirty messages for about a year before planning to meet in person.
Alright, so you wanted a video, and you made me videos, so, and he said please, so I'll make you this video, even though I'm not gonna like do anything, because my room's kind of dirty, and yeah, I don't want to show you my dirty room, but this video is for Emma, because you just told me to say your name, so I don't know. I'll make you another video once clean, I promise. Unless you just want to like see my wall, because that's not dirty, but behind me is dirty, so That's not good. Alright, this video is for you, Emma. The ragdoll. Amazing ragdoll. And I really don't know what to do for you on video. So I guess I'll show you my room a little bit, if that's what you want to see. First off, we got my door. And then we got my addiction for energy drinks. And then we got my small underground CD collection going on right here. And then we got my wall of awesomeness that I call it. Lots of posters and flyers and a Hatchet Man charm and random stuff. A hatchet. Oh no, the battery's dying.
The three teenagers made a plan to attend the Strictly for the Wicked music festival in Southgate, Michigan, but for this, they needed help. Emma's parents were not happy about Emma's choice of songs. Even though they didn't understand it, they decided to remain supportive of their daughter to be safe and happy. They were convinced that she can attend the music festival, but only if the trio stayed at their Farmville home, and Emma's parents would take the children to the event and drive them back. Emma and Richard were thrilled to finally meet in person. Richard was hoping that finally something nice would happen to him. Richard arrived in Farmville a few days before the event on the 7th of September. Just to meet Emma, he had flown all the way from California. But as we know, what things appear online aren't always what it is. Richard's physical appearance and shyness had put Emma off right away. There is a possibility of a rift between the two before the concert, but still, everyone went to the show on the 12th of September as per the plan. It is not known what exactly happened between Richard and Emma, but according to information from some sources, Emma started flirting with other boys at the festival. Given what was going to come, something very bad must have happened between Richard and Emma. Despite all this, they all returned to Farmville together the day after the concert, and all seemed well. Both girls signed into their MySpace accounts. On September 14th at 2:43 a.m., Melanie posted online that she would return home on September 16th. She also wrote that how much she is missing her family at home, but she would never make it back. When the girl did not return home on September 16th, the girl's father went to the house in Farmville where his daughter was staying, but there was no response even after knocking on the door for hours. For the next 2 days, the concerned parents made numerous attempts to contact Melanie, including calling Emma's phone, and even Razakel, who hadn't seen them since they left the event. But eventually, they were able to reach Richard on the phone at least twice. Every time they inquired about the whereabouts of the girls, he told them a new story. Melanie's mother called the Farmville police and requested a welfare check.
Yes, I don't know who I'm for, who I need to talk to, or
What's up?
My daughter is with a family in Farmville, Virginia, and she's been basically missing for the past 2.5 days. I can't get a hold of her. Her cell phone's turned off. What's worse is the girl that she was staying with, nobody knows where she is. Her cell phone is turned off. This daughter's boyfriend is staying there, and I've talked to him several times today, and I've gotten different stories. But my husband went down. He was supposed to pick up my daughter yesterday, and he went down there. He arrived at about 11 o'clock in the morning. He sat there for 8 hours outside the house. Nobody showed up. Nobody answered the door. And, I mean, we're about 4 hours away here, and I don't know what else to do.
Okay, is your husband still here in Farmville?
No, he's home. He came home.
Oh, okay.
He was going to head back down there tomorrow to pick her up, but everybody seems disappeared off the face of the earth, and I just don't know what to think. I checked the cell phone records with my cell phone company. The last time she used her cell phone, 1:28 in the morning on September 15th. And actually, she wasn't even somebody who called in and left her a voicemail.
Police went to the house, but they didn't find anything suspicious and returned without any answer. But later that day, as neighbors walked past the house, they smelled something dead even from the street. It is both unexpected and unsettling that the police did so little to look into this problem, even after getting multiple phone calls regarding missing girls. The parents didn't stop calling the police and forced them to go back to the house.
As well?
Yeah.
This is Farmville Police Department. Okay, did you just speak with somebody at the residence?
Yes, I just spoke with, I guess, the daughter's boyfriend.
Okay, well, I don't know. My sergeant went over there, and he had said that it was a young kid, a boy, and that Melanie and the girl she's staying with are at the movies now. Yesterday they went to Richmond. Vehicle had broken down, and the cell phone's dead, and that kind of thing. So is that what he talked to you about?
What he told me, yeah, and like I said, but I don't know where the mother is. I don't know where, I mean, she's usually the one that, I guess, drives them around, and she's just disappeared. I hadn't spoken to her at all. The father I talked to earlier on today,
Right.
He said that he was on his way, as a matter of fact, he was on the road when I was talking to him. He was going through Farmville, he was supposed to stop at the house. I haven't heard from him since.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm at this point, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think at all.
Okay.
You know, and him being at the movies, I just tried to call. He said that Emma tried to call, or just called him from the movies. And I tried to call the phone that, because she called from. There's no answer. It goes right into it.
Okay.
Farmville police arrived the following day, September 18th. But this time, police suddenly stopped by a terrible stench that was coming from behind the closed front door. Officers hurriedly entered the home and discovered what they later referred to as a slaughterhouse. The unrecognizable bodies were identified as Deborah Kelly, Mark Niederbrock, Melanie Wells, and Emma Niederbrock. Deborah, Melanie, and Emma had been brutally beaten to death while they slept in their beds, and Mark had been struck from behind when he arrived to check on the girls. The horrifying crime scene frightened the authorities, but something was missing. Richard was nowhere to be found. Razakil's boyfriend, Andre Shrimp, called the police just a few hours after the discovery of the gruesome crime scene. He said that one of Richard's friends had just spoken to him and told him that Richard had been extremely disturbed and had made some unsettling remarks, including that he had killed someone. By this time, the authorities were certain that Richard was responsible for the 4 horrifying killings. They circulated a photo of him from his MySpace page in an effort to find him. On September 19th, Richard was arrested before he could board a flight back to California by airport security. After his arrest, many people found themselves with more questions than answers. Before carrying out the murders, he is said to have consumed beer, smoked marijuana, and had taken pills for a headache. It's unclear if it was the result of his wrath over the failing romance between him and Emma, or if it was the consumption of substances that drove him to extremes. Richard pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of capital murder. Many people immediately pointed the finger at the horrorcore genre for mass murder because of the way the music sounds to glorify murder. Supporters counter that horrorcore is only a dark fantasy and that only someone with mental illness would commit such a horrific crime. But regardless of his musical tastes, this was a rage-fueled assault on a teacher, pastor, daughter, and friend by an evil individual.
How did you do it?
Jesus told me to do it.